Well, Bills fans, we got the news that we didn't want to hear heading into week 3 as Ed Oliver and Matt Milano will not be able to suit up against the Miami Dolphins. And that means the Bills could be in big trouble against Miami on Thursday Night Football. I'm going to tell you why on this edition of the Bills Breakdown by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Tyler Smith. And on the Ed Oliver front, I do believe that the Bills' defensive line will survive without number 91 because yes, he was the pretty much only Bills defensive lineman besides Joey Bosa that made a huge impact in week 1. The Bills D-line did a whole 180 in week 2, and they stifled anything that the Jets were trying to get going on offense. A week after, they put up 32 points against a good Steelers defense. So I'm confident in the Bills defensive line here, especially against the Miami offensive line that was atrocious in week 2. Look at some of these grades and statistics led up by the unit in Miami. Patrick Paul is actually their best offensive lineman here, filling in for the retired Taron Armstead, but he allowed a sack in week 2 against the Patriots. Larry Brown, their right tackle, filling in for Austin Jackson. He allowed 2 sacks in week 2. So the Bills' defensive line, specifically their edge rushers, should have a field day that should just make everybody's lives in the interior a whole heck of a lot easier. Joey Bosa was he was just phenomenal in week 2. If we get that Joey Bosa consistently in Buffalo, then Super Bowl is coming very, very soon. AJ Epinesa had made an impact as well, and Greg Rousseau was doing his thing. He had a sack and was working Armand Membu with his speed rushing techniques. Look, the Bills' defensive line was awesome in week 2, and I'm pretty confident in them filling up the slack against a bad Miami unit in week 3 here. And we will be live for that Miami versus Buffalo game on Thursday Night Football. So I'm telling you guys right now to subscribe to the channel and join us. Give it a chance. Give our watch parties a chance here on the channel. We do a pregame tailgate. We'll have a live scoreboard and a play-by-play detailing everything that's going on the football field. So join us for a night of fun on the Bills Breakdown on Thursday Night Football with Bills versus Dolphins. Alrighty, the trouble for Buffalo, though, that they could face in this Thursday Night Football matchup is really in the losing Matt Milano front and the veteran leadership and just football IQ he has out there to sniff out some of the things that the Miami Dolphins like to do on offense. And Joe Buscaglia of The Athletic had this to say about Milano's absence. He said, if Milano doesn't play, and now that's confirmed, the Dolphins could be getting a bit of a boost. With his plus instincts as a linebacker, Milano has done an excellent job sniffing out misdirection attempts by the Dolphins in the past, making tough one-on-one stops against their running backs, and not taking the ball on the play-action passing game on early downs. Dorian Williams would likely start in place of Milano. And while Williams is a good seek-and-destroy type of run-defending linebacker who can make some plays in the backfield, he has problems sniffing out misdirection plays. Moreover, he creeps too close to the line of scrimmage on play-action passes. And what will the Dolphins try to do? They will try to misdirect you. They will try to beat you over the top, and they'll just try to beat you with that speed. And if you get caught on a misdirection or a play action, they've already won the rep. They've already won the down there. So it's going to be on Williams here to use that offseason of training and improvement to kind of get better in those departments and kind of stop getting faked out by the Miami Dolphins. He has been serviceable in the absence of Milano in the past. He started 10 games for the Bills in 2024, so pretty confident in his abilities here, and he's only gotten better from season to season, and his teammates have taken notice of that. Taron Johnson said the following. He said, the main progress I've seen in Williams is his mental. He's always had the ability, always showed his strength and power out there, but his mental, how good of a feel he has for the game is way better than it was last year. So, that makes us feel a little bit better, right? Like his instincts on the football field as far as sniffing out plays, recognition-wise, is better, and his teammates are taking notice of that. So hopefully, against a team that he struggled with in the past year in Miami, we see that development, and we see his IQ kind of not get faked out as much, for lack of a better word. Look, I believe in Williams' progression here, but he is limited as a player. He's a seek-and-destroy, run-defending type of linebacker. So on obvious passing downs, you're probably not going to want to have him out there at least 100% of the time. So we'll likely see hometown kid Joe Andreessen, Buffalo Joe, on obvious passing downs here for Miami. He's got great instincts where he's got an ability to run with the receiver, run with the tight end, run with the one running back, whoever's on the route, while also keeping his eyes to the quarterback and where he is, if that quarterback's going to decide to take off and run or do something else with the football. So I'm confident in Andreessen's ability here on passing downs to fill in for Milano, and it's a good opportunity for him, a guy who got invited to rookie minicamp a season ago after being undrafted and then making the 53-man roster to show that he is a valuable piece to be playing on the downs on defense here. He showed that in week 2 against the Jets where he was filled in, he filled in for Milano and subbed in with the reserves, toward the tail end of that game, and he was graded out. Was one of the best Bills in coverage on defense. They had a 67.4 coverage grade in 8 coverage snaps against the Jets. So I'm confident here in the Bills' reserve linebackers, but just not having Milano overall is going to be an issue, and that issue could end up lingering for the Bills because Milano, this could end up being a long-term injury. Sean McDermott's being very coy about that. We haven't heard the final injury report or any newer updates on Milano here, just that he won't play, but this could be a long-term injury. Also, Shaq Thompson, speaking of injuries, he looks like he will play, but how much really is the question here? He hasn't played so far this season, and I think the Bills are probably more confident in going with a heavier package of Dorian Williams and Joe Andreessen rather than rushing Shaq Thompson into a big role. But with him being the veteran, and if things get out of hand with those guys, I feel confident in his abilities to step up as well. If you guys have a confidence level in the linebacker room, let me know down in the comment section. Scale it for me, 1 to 100. 1 being if losing Milano cooks this whole ordeal, 100 being that maybe Milano wasn't playing as well as he should have been to start the season because he wasn't grading out all that well. Let me know your confidence level, 1 to 100, down in the comment section. And next, I'm going to tell you guys why the Dolphins are in big trouble. And I mean big trouble. I just found a stat that you guys are going to be loving. I'll tell you what it is in just a moment. But first, get hooked up with our sponsor on the program, and that is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports platform because it's daily fantasy made easy. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid where you can win up to 2,000 times your money watching your Buffalo Bills this season. It's so simple. All you guys got to do is pick a lineup of 2 to 6 players and just pick more or less on their projected stats. You can mix and match sports. You can mix and match stats. You can even stack stats on the same player now on Prize Picks. And they always want to make it easier for you guys to win real money in real time, like a free $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup and use our promo code CLNS as a new user. If you want to see my lineup for week 3, here's what I got. I got Devon Achane to get in the end zone. I do think the Miami Dolphins are going to score in this game, and Achane scored every time he's played against Buffalo, so I got more on that. And that's a demon play as well that boosts my payout. Josh Allen, more than 232.5 passing yards. The Dolphins defense is booty cheeks. And then we got Keon Coleman, more than 44.5 receiving yards. You can tell my picks or fade them. If I hit them all, I win 7.5x my money on Prize Picks. So download the app today and use the code CLNS for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. The Dolphins could be in big trouble, and I am going out here on a limb and saying they are going to be in big trouble against the Bills. This could end up being a blowout because of this stat right here. The Dolphins are the only team in the National Football League through 2 weeks that has yet to generate a pressure from an interior defensive lineman. It's pretty impressive, to be quite honest. But is it all that surprising? No, because in 2024, Miami's interior defensive lineman generated just 18 pressures on the season, the second fewest in the NFL. And this is great news for Buffalo because, yeah, they have a fantastic offensive line and they keep Josh Allen very, very protected. So the job's going to be a little bit easier this season, this time around against Miami, I should say. The interior defensive lineman package that the Dolphins like to run on first down specifically, and here's where the Bills can kind of exploit them a little bit. They run 3 down interior defensive linemen on first down. Zach Sealer, rookie Kenneth Grant out of Michigan, and Jordan Phillips, not the one from Buffalo. He's out of Maryland. They all have absolutely atrocious pass rush grades here, 40.6, 56.0, and 51.3. So with that being said, how about we see some passing on first down here from the Buffalo Bills? Let's try to end them early. Just hit them with big plays because you're going to have the time out there in the pocket. Josh Allen has had the 7th most time to throw in the National Football League this season so far, and I would like to see some 17 in the pocket on first down. How about some play action as well? I mean, I'm very, very confident in the Bills here and their ability to protect Josh Allen, specifically protecting against these Miami interior defensive linemen that are pretty mediocre, to be quite honest with you, because of the development of one of the Bills' interior offensive linemen being O'Cyrus Torrence. In his 3rd year here, a lot of the Bills' coaching staff, everybody in the building is saying this is a breakout year for O'Cyrus, and so far he's shown that. Hasn't graded out the best so far per PFF, but that's why you can't take everything they say as the Bible. His teammates are taking notice. His coaching staff is taking notice. And David Edwards, the Bills' left guard, said that O'Cyrus Torrence could be one of the best, if not the best, guard in the National Football League. Here's what he had to say on his progression. I know what he's capable of, and I think that he's starting to play into that. I've seen a guy that I think now is really playing into his strengths in pass pro and in the run game. A lot is being asked of O'Cyrus. And I feel like to be able to understand what he knows how to do in the run game, in the pass game, and kind of playing to that, I think that has been pretty evident the first couple of games. And again, week 2, where, the Bills are probably playing a pretty decent defensive line there in the New York Jets, he graded pretty well. He played against Quentin Williams all day, and he graded out with a 69, very nice, .4 in pass pro per PFF. So Osiris is making waves here, and this is awesome. Specifically in the run game, too. I saw him. He made an awesome block that led to James Cook's 44-yard touchdown at the line of scrimmage. He also made a key block that led to Josh Allen's 40-yard scramble at the beginning of that game as well. And he made some big plays in the Ravens game in week 1 to generate some splash plays for Buffalo, too. I'm very bullish on Osiris Torrance here in his progression, and he's a big-time extension candidate for the Bills here. With Miami being so bad on the interior of their defensive line, they're going to be in big trouble here because it is a wall on the Bills' offensive line, especially on the interior with Torrance. But as far as the entire unit goes, through 2 weeks, the Bills have allowed the 3rd lowest pressure rate at 25.0. So 1 in 4 pass plays, the Bills allow pressure. A pressure, not a sack, a pressure. Josh Allen doesn't get sacked, by the way. He has the 3rd lowest sack percentage in the NFL. So even if the offensive line breaks down, there is a pressure. Guess what? We got 17, and you don't. So that's another reason that the Miami Dolphins are in big trouble this week. Josh Allen's 13-2 against the Dolphins all time. Mike McDaniel, who's about to get fired on Friday, is 0-4. Ceto y cuatro against Josh Allen. He ain't going to win this time. We got 17, and Miami does not. So that's another reason that the Bills are putting the Miami Dolphins in a really rough spot this week. I think it could be a blowout, capital B. And I want you to join us for that party on our watch party. Subscribe to the channel, as that will do it for today's edition of the Bills Breakdown. Bills versus Dolphins, Thursday Night Football, 6:30 Eastern Time. We'll see you then. Comment down below if you're going to join us with Real One, and I'll be replying and hearting to every single one of those. Give me a follow over on Twitter as well. I'll be keeping you guys tabbed in with everything that you need to know with your Buffalo Bills this season. We'll see you guys in the next one, and as always, let's go Buffalo.